66 million years ago, the world was a very different place, a humid greenhouse where giants ruled every corner of the landscape. But even among giants, there was one whose name still commands a primal fear: Tyrannosaurus Rex. We are in Hell Creek, a lush floodplain that will one day become the badlands of Montana and the Dakotas. It is 5 a.m., and for this 7-ton predator, the day begins not with sight, but with the most powerful sense in the animal kingdom: smell. Deep in his brain, the massive olfactory bulbs process a symphony of scents: rotting vegetation, damp earth, and the distant musk of herbivores. He stirs from his sleep, a movement that sends small mammals and reptiles scurrying for cover in the leaf litter. Rising to his full height of 20 feet, he surveys his kingdom through eyes that possess a depth of vision far superior to even a modern eagle. His territory spans nearly 50 square miles, and every morning he must reaffirm his claim to it. He begins with a sound that few creatures would ever forget, a low-frequency vibration that starts deep in his chest. This roar is not a scream, it is a resonant thrum that travels for miles, vibrating through the very ground itself. Nearby, a group of triceratops pauses their grazing, their heads tilting as they register the warning of the king. With his presence announced, the tyrant begins his morning patrol, checking the borders of his range for intruders. He stops at a large conifer tree, the bark already scarred by the territorial markings of previous weeks. Fresh scent marks from a younger male tell him that a rival has been testing the boundaries under the cover of darkness. But for now, the rival is gone, and a more pressing need takes over: the hunger that comes from an animal this size. His metabolism is a constant engine, requiring nearly 200,000 calories a day just to maintain his massive weight. To find a meal of that size, he must head toward the river delta, where the vegetation is lush and the herbivores are plentiful. The humidity is already climbing as the sun rises higher, making the air thick and heavy with the smell of salt and mud. As he reaches the edge of the wetlands, he slows his pace, his movements becoming more calculated and deliberate. He isn't just a brute, he is a master of the ambush, using the terrain to hide his massive frame from prying eyes. A group of ankylosaurs is nearby, but their heavy armor and clubbed tails make them a risky target for a morning meal. He decides to pass them by, searching instead for the younger or weaker members of an Edmontosaurus herd further down the bank. The wind is in his favor, blowing his scent away from the herd and allowing him to get dangerously close. He picks his target, a sub-adult female standing slightly apart from the main group, distracted by a patch of fresh flowering plants. The T-Rex shifts his weight, his powerful leg muscles coiling like springs, ready to propel 7 tons of muscle forward in an instant. It is a game of patience, waiting for the exact moment when the target's head is down and its guard is at its lowest. Suddenly, the silence of the morning is shattered as the tyrant lizard king launches his attack. In a matter of seconds, the peaceful riverbank turns into a scene of chaos and desperate survival. His massive strides cover the distance with terrifying speed, his jaws wide and ready to deliver the final blow. But the hunt is never guaranteed. One slip, on the muddy bank, or a well-timed kick from the prey could end the effort in failure. Recovering his footing with a powerful shove of his tail, the king refocuses, refusing to let the meal slip away. The younger Edmontosaurus panics, making a fatal mistake by turning toward the deeper, stickier mud of the river's edge. With the prey slowed, the T-Rex closes the distance, his shadow looming over the exhausted herbivore like a mountain of scales. He strikes with precision, his serrated teeth sinking deep into the neck, a bite force of over 8,000 pounds per square inch. In an instant, the struggle is over. The apex predator has secured the fuel he needs to survive another day. The adrenaline begins to fade, replaced by the sheer exhaustion of the chase and the primitive urge to feed. But he cannot eat in peace just yet. The smell of fresh blood is a dinner bell for every scavenger in the valley. Tiny Acaroraptors, no bigger than a turkey, dart through the ferns, hoping for a stray scrap or a momentary lapse in attention. The T-Rex lets out a short, sharp bark, a warning that this kill is his and his alone. Satisfied that his perimeter is clear, he begins the arduous task of dismembering the carcass with surgical efficiency. Unlike many predators, the Tyrannosaurus possesses the power to crush bone entirely, allowing him to access the nutrient-rich marrow inside. Each swallow is massive, the throat muscles working hard to move pounds of meat down to the highly acidic stomach. By 9 a.m., the sun is beginning to beat down with a relentless heat, and the feast is nearly half finished. He is already beginning to feel the meat coma, a lethargy that follows a massive intake of protein. But in the Cretaceous, a full stomach is a heavy burden, and he must find a more secure place to digest before the true heat of the day sets in. With a final, lingering look at the remains, he abandons the kill site, leaving a bounty behind for the smaller residents of the floodplain. The journey to his preferred resting grove is slow. His stomach now carries nearly 500 pounds of meat, adding to his already immense weight. In the distance, the calls of hadrosaurs echo through the trees, a reminder that the cycle of life here never truly stops. He finds a grove of ancient redwood-like trees, their massive trunks providing a natural fortress against the climbing temperature. The ground here is soft, carpeted with centuries of fallen needles and moss, a perfect bed for a tired king. Before settling, he scans the perimeter one last time. Even at the top of the food chain, vigilance is the price of survival. Finding no immediate threats, he begins the slow process of lowering his massive bulk to the earth. He rests his weight first on his pubic boot, a specialized bone at the base of his pelvis designed to support him while sitting. With a deep groan of satisfaction, he lays his head down, his breathing slowing as the forest sounds lull him toward a mid-morning nap. The heat of the morning has reached its peak, and the forest falls into a temporary, sun-drenched silence. This is the hidden life of a tyrant. Hours of intense, violent action followed by long periods of quiet vulnerability. But even in sleep, his senses remain partially active. His ears are tuned to the snap of a twig or the cry of a rival. As the first chapter of his day closes, the king of the dinosaurs has proven his dominance once again. But the day is far from over. As the sun begins its descent, new challenges will emerge from the shadows of Hell Creek. Coming up, we explore the social dynamics of these giants and what happens when two kings cross paths